Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today in this particular video, we will be discussing about an interesting and cool data science problem asked in Spotify. So make sure you watch the video till end to learn something new. And please subscribe to my channel if not already done yet, as I will be coming up with a lot more useful content. So as we can see, like we are having two tables with us from Spotify. The very first table contains the ranking of US, right? So basically ranking of a track name or a track from US region. And the second table contains like ranking of track name from worldwide, right? Both of these table contains like almost similar columns, right? Or almost similar level of details, right? So in first table, as we can see, we are having position, track name, artist, and less like rest of the other details with respect to that particular track, right? Similarly, in second table, we can see we are again having position, track name, artist, and rest other details, right? Now, as part of this particular problem, we have to find number of days, right? So we have to find number of days for which a track which was a US track. So originally that track should be US track. In this particular problem, it had been mentioned like that track has to be stayed in first position. So we have to basically make sure the position should be first. As we can see, like position column is there in both of these tables, right? So position column should be like first, or like we have to basically fetch only those tracks who are at first position in both of these data sets, right? And basically that track should be available in both US and worldwide table, right? And then once we will be able to fetch these records or like these details, then we have to basically count number of days for which that particular track had been stayed for first position, right? So yeah, as we can see over here, basically the information which we have to fetch is from both US and from worldwide table, right? Which means like one thing is clear over here. We have to like basically join these two tables, right? So as soon as basically we will be getting a particular problem, right? So I felt like a lot of candidates are getting stuck like what should be the approach to solve this particular problem, right? So if we will be able to get the approach, I mean like we will be able to solve the complete problem, right? So I would suggest like we should understand the problem very deeply, right? So we have to basically understand the problem. We have to read each and every word of the problem. And then on top of that, like we have to basically ensure like what steps we have to take to solve the particular problem, right? So likewise over here, since we have to basically use both of these tables, so I will first of all like implement the operations on the first table, and similarly we will implement the operation on second, and then we will basically join these two tables, right? So let me just quickly show you how we will be able to approach this. So since basically we have to first of all fetch only those records whose like only those tracks whose position is first, right? So basically over here what we have to do, we have to get date. Apart from that, like we have to get track name as well. So track name, just a second. Okay, yeah, so track name, right? And apart from that, like what we have to do, we have to fetch only those tracks whose position is first, right? So for that, where position is equal to 1, right? So basically, I think over here there's some spelling mistake. Okay, so basically we have to fetch only those records like whose position is 1 in this particular data set, right? So now let me just run this and we'll show you what will be the output. So as you can see, we are getting date, we are getting track names as well, right? Let me show you the position as well. I mean, like the position will be 1 only. So let's fetch that as well. So over here, as we can see, we are getting all those records whose position is 1, right? So this is basically our first use case, right? Now, same thing we have to basically implement on second like table as well, right? So for that, what I'm doing is I will basically create this as CTE. So I will use with US rankings as, and this will be my first CTE, right? Similarly, what I will do, I will have like a second CTE as well, where I will basically use this particular table, like worldwide table. And I will again do the same thing over here as well. So again, like we have to get date, track name, position. right? Okay, and like we have to basically fetch again those records where position is equal to 1, right? So where position equal to 1, and apart from that, like what we have to make sure that track should be US track, right? So over here, as we can see, let me just run this query or like run this table once again. So over here, as we can see, hmm, okay. So when we basically run this particular piece of code, we will be able to see over here we are having region, right? So in this particular problem, we have to fetch only those tracks who belongs to US, right? So I mean, like from the worldwide table, we have to basically implement second condition as well, where region should be US, right? So position should be 1 and region region should be US, right? So yeah, now let me just run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. Oh my bad, it's region. Okay, so now let's run. Okay, so over here also, as we can see, we are having date, track, and position, right? Now, since we are filtering the position, we are not in need of this particular column, right? So I am removing this from both of these, right? And let me just give this as second CTE. So over here, this could be worldwide rankings, right? So yeah, and this will be my second CTE. Okay. Now what we have to do basically, we have to like merge these two tables, right? Or like merge these two CTEs, and from that we have to basically fetch those tracks who are available, like which are available in both of these CTEs, right? Or in both of these tables, right? So for that, what I will do, I will use select like track name, right? And what I will do basically, I will so since we have to basically get this track name from both of these tables, right? So I will do basically uh, I I will fetch this from the very first CTE, right? So over here, since like we have US rankings, right? And on top of that, I will do a join, right? So join what? Join worldwide rankings, right? On US rankings dot date is equal to worldwide rankings dot date, right? I mean, like in this particular problem, they have asked like basically we have to output the track name and number of days in the first position, right? And basically we have to find like that particular track, right, should be there in both of these tables, right? So basically that track should be there in the US table as well as in worldwide table as well. And that track should be first position on the same days, right? So that track should be on the first position on same days in both the like geographies, right? So that's why since like that track should be on the first position on same date in both the geographies, that's why we have to basically merge or join them on date, right? And similarly, basically that track should also be available in both of these tables, right? So for that, I'm using another joining condition, which would be like worldwide, one sec, and US rankings dot track name. So basically track should also be same, right? So for that, I'm using US rankings dot track name is equal to worldwide rankings dot track name, right? Now, uh, let me just run this query and we'll show you what will be our output. Okay, let's fetch date as well. And this track name we have to fetch from US rankings because we have to fetch like US rankings track name, right? And this date also we have to fetch from US rankings, right? So now let's run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. Okay. So as we can see, basically we are having these many number of tracks, which were basically on the first position, and like we are having these were available on the same date in both of these like geographies, right? Now what we have to do, we have to basically count number of days for which these tracks were on first position, right? So for that, what I will do, instead of basically fetching this date, what I will do, I will do count of date, right? So I will do, once I will do count of date, I will be able to basically count number of days for which like these two tracks were in like first place, right? For that, what I will do, uh, I will do count, and I will basically give alias as days in first position, right? And since I'm basically aggregating over here, so for that I will use group by, and group by of what? Group by of us dot track name. Okay, so now let me just run this and we'll show you how what will be our output. Yeah, so as you can see, we are getting track name, we are getting days in first position as well, right? So yeah, that's what we have to basically showcase as part of the output. So in output, as we can see, we have to showcase like track name and number of days in the first position, right? So yeah, that's all for the output of this particular problem. I hope you got to learn something new from this. Thank you one and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.